All right, welcome to video 2. I covered the brand name up because people kind of get craptastic about things like that. I'm sure craptastic is an official word in the dictionary. If baby mama is, then craptastic has been around a lot longer than that. So, all right, so you can see I chose a very this is gray. I chose a darker color on this intentionally to do that. Because if I feel like I need to use this and I had Banyan wands in mind, I just chose it. I've got some others here that I could have done like this. This is going to be really hard and really interesting to do. They'll take forever. But I chose this on purpose because it would contrast so much with what was there. The rest of it was like kind of like colored similar to this, and others were similar to the brown, like here. So you had light brown, you had dark brown, then you had this gray, and the gray kind of did it. So I think it'll be, I think this is probably the better way to go, because it can be sanded, painted, carved off, but it still needs some work. I don't know. I'm not entirely firm in that decision, but I'm at least going to try it, because it can always be chiseled out, right? Yes, Norris, it can. Thanks, dudes. All right, let's go. Here we go. Get our perspective. This one, it. Oh my God, I chose it from the wrong end, didn't I? Yeah. For fuck's sake. I suppose that could be a good thing. It could go either way, actually. So if I ruin this end, I could always swap it over for the this back part, and then try to go for this, because even here in this back part, you can see all these really cool ass wormholes going on. Some voids here. I mean, that's the way it is with this. So that actually sounds like a very sound way to go. Is it going to be maybe a little short? Yeah, it might be a little short, but you know, it'll be in the photos. So. Some chip out. Chip out's going to be a problem with this, but at the same time, I actually have to be careful which files I use on this, because it is so soft. See, I just put my thumb. It's not a big nail. My nails have a tendency to split. That's why I can't play classical guitar. I am concerned about this. I know I already said that, but I am concerned about this. It looks larger once the bark is off, so I guess we're going to see. So we just need to work this end of the wand, and I guess, and just find out what the hell we're really looking at, right? Screw it, let's do it. So we're just going to do like a general reduction all the way around, so I'm not going to bother with the pencil this time. Might bite me in the ass, but wait, can I? They get mad if you cuss too early in the video. But you know what? I'm not monetized, so they can just, I guess they can just bite my ass, right? All right. Oh, this is the decision. The bigger chisel can come bigger mistakes, which I wanted it for the heavier weight of the chisel when I was taking the bark off. Screw it, let's do it. General reduction. Oof, man, that just makes me so freaking nervous. And here I'm literally laying and putting pressure against this wood as I'm running the chisel over it. Partially so it doesn't run away, but the other part is so that it's going to reduce the down angle, right, for split out, right? So you can kind of do that, but you got to be careful, like here where it kind of tilts. It's got to be somewhat level, or you can see like this, or something like this can just chip off. And was I going to chip that off? Yeah, probably, but I want it to be controlled, right? That's really the softer, the more delicate the wood, the more. Got a little knot here. It's all right. It's gonna go. The more control you're gonna need. And as I'm splitting this off, I know it's a little fuzzy, and you might not be able to see it, but it's fuzzy on my end too. I can see this, but vein. This whole area. I have a feeling this is just going to get lost. So what does that mean though? Here I have a lot of on top, so I'm gonna have to try to focus this up like this to kind of get past this. We're still in our general reduction because I want to see what's going on with the rest of the wand too. This may just have to be a short wand, and I may have to just cut that end off. But usually if I see this much in a wand like this, it's that way across the board, right? It's going to be that way for the whole damn stick. And it's not a wand until I carve it, so let's just go ahead and, because these are, we're still largely taking off outer layers of bark here, but really nice lines going on here. Really beautiful lines, actually. It's unfortunate if this one doesn't make it, because it's part of the appeal of Banyan is that it's delicate. It's likely to not work, but you just get striations and variations like this in here. They're just so neat to see, and if you can keep them, it's really rewarding. At least I think it's rewarding. It gives it more character. I mean, if I just wanted to carve table leg looking wands, then that's a couple $100 investment, and then I can pump 50 of these damn things out like in a weekend or some shit. Probably not 50, but you know what I'm saying. So I don't like the way they look. I mean, if you do, by all means, you do you. But I don't like the way they look, and I don't really consider it. I don't see myself gaining skills by doing just the same crap over and over again. You could argue that that's what I'm doing with driftwood, but it's at least a more interactive process. I have considered using a sander, like a really fine sander, to try to help with that aspect of it. And even then, I've considered that for like 5-6 years now, and I just can't bring myself to do it. It's not as satisfying to me to do that. So here we've got one going here, bam, all the way up here, all the way to here, branches into here, 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 and here. We'll see. This is probably salvageable here. These darker colors, not only are they cool, but it's shallow, right? And so hopefully if there's nothing on this other side, then this can be saved. And if that's the case, then I'll start carving down here to try to save it, because that's a really unique aspect of the wand, right? And that's also partially why I don't want to do table leg stuff, because some of the wood I work with is just way asymmetrical, you know, right? I mean, look at that. It's a freaking nightmare. This is going to be a nightmare to do. All these little bumps are going to have grain going all the different way. I don't expect it's going to be as satisfying as a sandworm in the end, but it's going to be just as difficult. It's just a little bit smaller. So sandworm actually went out really well. I was pleasantly surprised and very, very pleased with that wand, actually. And part of that's because I was cussing it so much, right? And let's be honest, I was. Now it has a very good forever home. It's been rescued by my good friend, and it doesn't have to drift the open ocean any longer. All right. All right, so let's think about this. Since I know there's an area I want to keep, I should really switch over from general reduction to let's start using some pencil here, right? Because it's easy for me to get lost in the sauce as I'm talking and I'm making observations, and the wand really hasn't taken shape yet on its own. But I know I want to keep this. I'm not sure I want to keep this. But I didn't actually plan this at all. But this color here, this darker color, would actually look pretty good if these areas had to be filled in with gray. That gray stuff. So Now that we know that, we do know that this is going to be too damn thick anyhow, so we're going to have to do a reduction here anyways. I am concerned about potential insect activity right here, so I will probably go ahead and work on these two sides and bring those in. Unfortunately, that means I might dig into some of this a little bit. If this behaves and turns to like that, it may also change our trajectory on this wand. But I need to take care of this insect thing first, because I don't want to be transporting things across lines. Now, this was a piece of deadfall that had laid out there for who knows how long. It's sat in here for at least over a month, but some larvae it can take a while. I mean, I've carved wands before where I split when I wasn't making videos, but I had a split out on the wand, and all of a sudden I'm looking at a grub that I killed, and so I have a tendency to investigate these things, because that now it goes down into here, so that's unfortunate. We do have a slight curve this way, so we can turn this in like this. And so let's just go ahead and stop talking and start doing, because that's the only way shit gets done. And let's just go ahead and reduce. Shit, I don't want to do that, but you know what? Doesn't matter. You gotta take a look. We'll reduce this and then try to base the rest of this off that. It may fail, but I have actually an obligation to ensure that I'm not transmitting species across out of Hawaii, right? Now, technically, this wood has been worked, so it's not raw, and I don't have to say it is. Bark has been removed. It has been smoothed. It has been checked for parasites. None have been found. I doubt it, but I still have to look. I'm going to intentionally chip that out. I'm going to do a little bit here. Let's do some longer strokes. All right, it looks like it's closing back up, so whatever in there is, it would be in there deep, so I'm not going to go much further than that outside of my regular woodworking thing. I expect it to kind of open up, and instead it's getting smaller, right? Every time I do this, the hole gets smaller. So you could say that the wood has healed itself, but and I can't argue, but I can say that I will keep an eye on that, and that is perfectly fine. But now I have to do a general reduction across the rest of the lawn. That was our knot. It still gives a nice, pleasant appearance here, but that's probably going to be gone by the time we get down to the final stages of this wand. Because this is exactly the area where we're having to reduce, right? One of them. I mean, I guess that's kind of dumb to say, because we're reducing the entire damn wand, right? All right, this has gotten smaller, so that's good. All right, so we can see that little void there. It's not deep, that's good. Sometimes these are deep. And I think I misspoke about which wand I screwed up. But the video was named Catastrophe or something like that, so whatever. Whichever one that was. Maybe it was 2. I don't know. It really doesn't matter. But there will be more of that, I am 100% sure. Okay, so using my nail, scraping this. It's not too deep right here. That's a bit of a relief. You know, typically I don't do that because it leaves things my chisels can catch on when I'm trying to make a uniform thrust. But I need to, especially with this wood, I need to get an idea. And that's a little bit more important because I can flip the chisel over and then take off smaller amounts, right? Well, yes, Norris, you can. Good job. Thank you. Let's go ahead. Man, I really like this. Normally, I don't get this really nice, cool, dark color going on. It's just kind of just a void, right? That's really cool, actually. pretty pleased about that. Not that I had anything to do with it, but you know what I mean. Not my self-satisfaction, just satisfaction. All right. Well, that's encouraging actually, because if it's this shallow, then I'm less concerned that it's going to be structurally defunct. Always a concern. I still don't know that necessarily up here, but it kind of looks that way from here, right? So now we need to take a more measured approach to it, since we are somewhat reassured that this is going to work. And so far we don't really have anything significantly standing out. We've got nice dark marks on both sides up here at the tip. And so what I think we'll do is we'll just start a general reduction this way and see what we can keep. And if it looks like, I mean, this is going to be, you know, about half that size, right? Then we might lose it to begin with. And I just hope that the stuff underneath is as nice to look at. So we're going to treat it like a general lawn. And this is my real curve. So this is the one where it's going to determine what the angle of the tip looks like. And so what I'm probably going to want to do, I'm sure you can actually see it here, as this thing shuts off in a heartbeat, is I'll probably take this and I want to go straight like this. And just a little bit of a downward hook here, right? So probably something similar to all of that going away, right? And then this will be tapered down. I'm going to work this part first though, and the reason for that is I still have, even though it looks like it's structurally stable, I still have concerns, and I have to mitigate those concerns, and the only way to do that is to cut shit away, right? It's a technical term. Excuse me, it's an industry term, cut shit away. You probably won't find it. It's probably in common usage, and it goes something like this. There we go. Now let's just clean this side up right here, because we're going to have to anyhow if that ends up being the angle. All right. Some nice marks here from a little knot that is not going to stay. The knot that not stays, right? Man, that wasn't even a good dad joke. Sorry about that. All right, so we have this, and this angle right here is in line. This needs to come down a little bit, of course. Let's just go ahead and mark that shit. Yep. Cut that shit away. And so we can see that this is a pretty gentle arc right here that we want to maintain, right? We want to keep this arc going right here. I am going to kind of leave some of this though, because I want just that little bit of wiggle room to taper it to the top of the wand, right? So what's my time? 19. Screw it, let's do it. Yeah, see that? I mean, you can there aren't going to be many videos of this long. It just works. This stuff works just so quick. And I mean, look at all that, right? All right, you can start to see a definite difference here. Probably doesn't look like it as much to you just because you have to look at it at a lower level. You can still see a little bit of red here. Just say no. But I do want to leave that taper because it's a lot easier to get the angle going and then just kind of nudge it than it is to recreate it. when you're constrained for space. Maybe you take a little too much off early. All right, here we go. We're about at 20 minutes then. So we've got that. We haven't looked at this yet. We do notice it has a little upward curve like this, which means we're going to take some of this down and taper that in, which means we'll have to adjust this handle just a little bit too, but we're going to do it gradually and gracefully, so that way it's noticeable, because you can't hide it, but it's going to be less noticeable. So we'll kind of work on that just a little bit. Oh shit, it's part of this knot. All right, so we might just have to, if we want that knot on the top, do we want that knot on top? It is a natural aiming point. So if we want to, oh, then we've got our little, I mean, it's not a Death Eater thing here, which I probably would have been a Death Eater if I'm being honest with you. Doesn't mean I would have done everything, because that's not me. But if I were a Gryffindor, I would have been one of the darker Gryffindors that, you know, would help you, but you'd, I'm not just going to do that shit wholehearted. You know, you better, I'll do stuff for the helpless, and I'm not going to just shit on people just to shit on people, but don't think that I'm just going to take up your cause just because you feel it's important. That's what a Gryffindor means to me. I would have gone either way, actually. But so we may actually have to think about the wand like this, since we know we're going to structurally be able to do this, and we'll go over this more in the next video once I have this uploaded. We may actually just take this and make it the focal point for the handle, and then we may take this and use it as the focal point for the aiming of the wand, and adjust the rest of the wand to kind of do that. It does mean we'll lose some of this stuff over here, but we're probably going to anyhow. And if I'm trying to keep this, but I'm going to lose this, I'm going to lose this, then I'm losing a lot more than I'm gaining by just keeping this little area here and trying to orient it in some way. I mean, that's why we're using knives and you know, essentially knives on this wood, is to conform it to our will, so we can use this wand to conform things to our will, even if it's just our happiness and looking at this wand. So there we go. I think we just kind of made a watershed decision here with this. Shazam. Yeah, I like that. Video 2 done.